Welcome to this pop-up. So in this pop-up, what I'm going to show you is how you can import users. So this is going to be really relevant. What we're first going to do is we're actually going to create a Google Sheet, okay? And we're going to export that sheet out in the correct format, and then we're going to import it into Zenler. So why would you want to do this? Well, there can be a few reasons. One is you might have another system like you're using like 𝗂𝗂𝗡 or 𝗂𝗂𝗡 or something like that. And in all of these systems, you can actually export users out in the correct file format, which is CSV, okay? And that's really important. And then you can import them straight into the Zenler system. Really, really easy. You can also export out as a CSV format from Zenler to take into other applications, or you might be using something like Zapier and connecting your users into a Google Sheet, which then will already be in the Zenler system, but you could use it for other things. So it's really, really flexible the way you want to use it for your particular purpose. Now, I will stress that it's for your particular purpose, because there are a million billion ways that you might want to use data. Importing, exporting is really a thing that you can decide on your particular scenario. So with that said, we're going to create the Google Sheet. So I've just gone to a drive and created a simple Google Sheet. So I'm going to just go to the screen share now. You can see it's just a Google Sheet, just called it import users. So what we need to do first of all is we need to actually label the fields. Now this top field here will be the labeling of the fields to go into the system. And the three that we require here is first name, last name and email. The rest of them we don't really need, although you can bring other fields in there, but we're going to start really simple with this and just do it as that. So what I'm going to do in here is I'm just going to put name. So I'm choosing these for a particular reason why I've called this name, because actually in the system it's slightly different. I'm going to show you how to map the fields. Okay, if that's sounding complicated, it's really not. It's just choosing one field for something to go into. So we're going to choose name, and then we're going to call this one surname, okay? And then I'm just going to put email in here. So this is our top, or what I called our description field for what's going to be mapped across into Zenler. Again, if that sounds complicated, it really is not. Wait until we get into the system and you'll see how easy it is. So this is just a simple field. So we're just going to now populate this with a series of emails and names in here. So I'm just going to pause the video whilst I do that. Okay, so we've just completed this now. So I've just got a series of names, first names in here, and I've got surnames in here, and then I've just got a series of sort of dummy email addresses. Okay, so we've got this as a Google Sheet. So what I want to do is I want to export this out as CSV format, and I want to bring it into the system. So I'm going to go to File here, and where I have a download, I can go across and I make sure that I'm selecting comma separated values. Okay, so a CSV file is a common format for bringing into most data applications, okay? And that's the reason we don't want to use PDF, okay, which will flatten it out. We don't want to use HTML. We don't want to use things like Open Document or an Excel, because that's specific to those applications. What we're looking for is a generic format, and the format of choice that pretty much everybody uses is the CSV, the comma separated values. Okay, so that is why we use that format. It's common to lots and lots of applications. Most applications, in fact, you can export out as a comma separated values. So we're going to select that one, and what will happen now is it will export out. As you can see down there, it's exported this out. So if I show that in folder, then you can see there that we have our comma separated. And as you can see in there, our first field is name, and then comma, this is the comma separated bit, surname, comma, email, and then a new line, David, comma. So name ties up with the first one and the second one, etc. But you don't need to know that. So this is our format. So I'm just going to drag that onto my desktop for now, and that way I can just grab it easily once I jump into Zenler. So let us jump into Zenler now, and I will add these in. So I'm going to go into our Zenler site, and I'm going to go to admin. We're going to come down to site, and we will add it in. So I'll just wait for the site to load up here. Come into site and come into people here. Now I need to make a decision when I'm importing, but that'll be clear in a second. So I'm going to go down to people and I'm going to go to import users, top right. Let's click that button and now let's go and choose. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the file. So let's go and choose or select our file, which you can see is here on our desktop. So I'm going to click that and I'm going to click open. Okay, so let's click that. And now we need to choose the import as. So what are we going to do with these students? Are we going to take them straight into a course? Are we going to just have them as leads so we can email? There's a lot of choices we have here. Are we going to have them as instructors or support staff? You know, we can decide all this at this level. So I'm going to put them in as leads because I don't want to put them into a course or anything like that. They're just being brought in so I can email them. Maybe I brought them from another system into here, such as MailChimp or ConvertKit or something like that. So I'm just going to bring them in as leads. That way where they will have no access or login to the site, but you will be able to email them. So you can send them things like an email, join my course. And once they join a course, they will be converted from a lead into a student. Okay. So once you've got that and we've got our users, we're going to click next. Now this is where it will map the fields. Okay, so we need to choose for the name, the surname to go into a particular field. So this is the field on the right hand side that will be mapped into Zenler. Okay, these are the ones from the sheet. As you can see, if you had more fields inside of your document sheet here, they would appear in here and you'd have to map them. So we're going to choose in here. These are the options we have to map. So obviously name is our first name, so we're going to put that in there. So those names will go in first name field, surnames will go in last name, and of course email is email. So you can see that we have other fields that we could add here, like if I wanted to add a phone number, address, city, state, zip code, country, GDPR, I could put all of that in there as well. So you've got those options within there that you could have in your data sheet. So let's now click next. And it's going to ask us, do you want to add a tag? So at this stage, we can add a tag to all those users we are importing in. So I'm going to add a tag in there and I'm going to go newsletter. So you don't have to do it capitals, by the way. I just like to do that. And then I write newsletter and I just press enter. Now that's going to tag those users with that tag newsletter. Now I don't have to do that, just to be clear. I've just tagged them because I want to do another Zen pop-up. So next we could actually import them into a funnel. So if you had a funnel that you wanted to put people into, either to use the automation aspects of the funnel or to use the full funnel sequence, then you could drop them into a funnel here. You can also put them into a live webinar or a live interactive webinar. Now you can also put them into courses, but as I have no courses set up on this site, it's not appearing inside here. Okay, so this is a plus. So if you see courses in there, you can put them into a course as well. Now also it does make a difference if you've taken them in as students. If you're going to put them into a course, you need to remember to make them student. So when they come in, you can put them straight in there. So bear that in mind. So I'm not going to touch funnels or live interactive webinars or live webinars. I'm just going to click finish. So what's going to happen now is the import is in progress and we will mail you once the import. So you as admin will receive an email when the import is successful. Now it's pretty quick because we've got a few names. We haven't got many names on our sheet. We've only got 10. So I can literally refresh the page and it will work. So I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to just refresh this page here. And what you're going to see is they're just going to drop in here. I need to just hold the control key. I'm holding the control key and I'm hitting refresh here. So I'm holding that control key. And what you're going to see is they will appear in here eventually once it's finished importing, which can take a little bit of time. Let's just go to the new page here. Okay, so I'm going to just wait a little bit of time and then they will appear. But remember that email will be sent to you when that import is successful. So bear that in mind. So I'm going to refresh this a few times. It's normally fairly quick. So let's let this just finish. And there we go. So they've appeared in here. As you can see, they've all been tagged inside here with newsletter and they've all come in as leads. And you can see that I've got the name in here. It's given me the whole name. So it's put Alice, Miriam. It's tied them into the same fields there. And you can see the email address is in there, the join date obviously, So that's it. So that's how we can do it. So we could also export these out. Notice it says export CSV. So if we selected certain people like this and this one, we could actually just export them out. So you can actually export those out straight out, and you can see they've appeared in there. So if I just go into that folder, there will be people have been exported out on that level, which is there. So you can export these out. You can also use bulk actions on these. So if you wanted to go into here, you can use some bulk actions on here as well. So we've got you covered, but that is the basics of importing students from externally anywhere into the system itself. So understand those things. You're going to set that role, which will be a lead or student probably, you know, or it might be a support staff member or something like that. Remember that we can tag people as we're importing people in. So you might have multiple sheets and bring multiple sets in if you want to. So you've got all these things covered inside here. Really easy to do in Zenler. So I hope you enjoyed this then pop-up, and that is how you can import people using the CSV import function inside Zenler.